Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're gonna learn a little bit about images in Docker. Well, do you remember that I created a machine in AWS? From now on, I will be using this machine to work with Docker. So depending on your distribution, you can use Ubuntu or CentOs or Debian or Fedora. I don't recommend you to use Windows because it's going to be a little bit different, and probably you won't find Windows using Docker so frequently. Docker natively runs on Linux, and most of the environments that you're going to see in the real world are on top of Linux. I really recommend that if you don't have a Linux machine or if you have never used Linux, go ahead and create a virtual machine with CentOs or Ubuntu or Debian or Fedora and install Docker there. And please follow me with Linux. Or you are free to use Windows, but you probably will have problems. I will be there for you to help you. But what I want you to know is that in real world environments, you won't find Windows with Docker frequently. Great, so now that we have this, I have here my CentOS machine which has Docker installed because we actually installed Docker in the previous lesson, and we're going to talk about something which is an official image. Well, what is an official image? First, remember what is an image. An image is nothing else but a package that contains everything that your application needs to run. No worries, we will learn how to create our own images later. But for now, we will just talk about official images. Okay, so there's a lot of open source software, as you know. Let's talk about software like Apache, Nginx, Jenkins, MongoDB, MariaDB, MySQL. Well, it's not that free, but anyways, it's open source. And the thing is that these guys, for example, the guys from Nginx or the guys from Apache or the guys from MongoDB, they have already created Docker images for those services. And those images already contain Apache or Nginx or MySQL or Mongo. So those are pre-created images that you can use right away. So let's go to Google here. Let's type google.com and we're going to look for something called Docker Hub. And Docker Hub is nothing else but a place in the cloud where all the world stores images. So it's basically a centralized repository for public images, for official images, right? So now let's look for Docker Nginx, let's say Docker Nginx. And you see that the first result that appears here is on Docker Hub. Let's click here and you will see that it takes you straight to Docker Hub, and as you see, this image was created by the Nginx team. So these guys are literally maintaining the image. So you can trust this image because it's been maintained by the Nginx team. Now let's take a quick summary. We know that most of the open source projects like Nginx, Apache, MySQL, Mongo, they have their own Docker official image already built in Docker Hub. So you can go at any time and download that image. Now the question is, how do you download that image? And the answer is super easy. If you see here, we have one line which says Docker pull Nginx. Nginx is the name of the image, which is named Nginx. So basically, if you do this, if you copy this command, you go to your terminal where you already installed Docker and you paste this command, you're gonna see that something gets downloaded. And the thing that gets downloaded is nothing else but the Nginx image, which is pulled directly from Docker Hub. And Docker Hub stores the images so that you can pull it from the internet. So that's great. Now here we have something, and is that we can have versions of this image. Do you remember that I told you about versioning images? Well, this is how we versioned images. If you see here, if we scroll down a little bit, you're going to find a lot of versions for this specific image. And a version is nothing else but a specific version of that image at a certain point in time. Say Nginx version 1, Nginx version 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So these guys are giving you supported tags that you can use to pull this image. So here is a tricky thing. The first thing is that if you don't pass any tag, then by default you will be downloading the latest image, as you can see here. So let's go to the terminal, and if you do docker pull nginx, you see that it says, okay, we downloaded the latest image for nginx. But if you pass a tag like this, say that you want, I don't know, you want the version 1.15 and 12. So you can copy this tag and you can do docker pull, copy the name of the image. Remember, this is the name of the image, this name. And to pass a tag, what you do is that you just put a colon here and you paste the tag that you copied from Docker Hub. So in this way you are saying, okay Docker, please pull the image from Docker Hub using the nginx image and the tag, this weird tag. And if you hit enter, then you see that the image gets automatically downloaded, and that's great. Now let's try to download a different version so that we can see the layering function in Docker. Let me try to look for something different. Let's take a look at this one. Let me copy this tag, and we're going to download this image. So let's say docker pull nginx and this tag, hit enter, and as you can see, this is downloading something new. But if you see, it says this layer already exists. Do you remember when I told you about layers in the images, which is the parent and child relationship? Well, this layer is a parent and it was downloaded somewhere here. When you downloaded a new image, that layer got reused, and then you just downloaded the part that you needed, which is super great. Because you don't need to download this layer because it already exists in your machine. So in this video, you have learned what is an official image. And official images are nothing else but a package that is created by the team who provides the project. For example, the Nginx team creates an Nginx Docker image. The Apache team creates a Docker Apache image. And the MongoDB team creates a MongoDB Docker image. Now you know how to download that image to your computer. Now you know how to download a specific version of that image. And you know that whenever you download something from Docker Hub, and if you have some layer which is already present on your computer, Docker will not download it again because it already exists in your machine. So as a challenge, I wanted you to go to the Docker Hub and you can look for a Apache image or for the MongoDB image and try to download it to your local machine. So this is it for this video. I'll see you in the next lesson.